Today is Thursday, June the 6th. I am Noreen Johnson, and here are the good news headlines of the day. Both the Department of Justice and multiple media sources have concluded that the Hunter Biden laptop was real, but the trial of the president's son has further confirmed its legitimacy. Prosecutors on Tuesday held up the infamous laptop, which Hunter left at a Delaware repair shop in 2019 and was the subject of a bombshell New York Post report in the month before the 2020 election. The computer revealed evidence that Hunter introduced his father, then Vice President of the United States, to a Ukrainian businessman less than a year before Joe pressured Ukrainian government officials to fire a prosecutor investigating the businessman's company. This meeting took place a year after Hunter was inexplicably hired to the board of a Ukrainian energy firm and paid up to $50,000 a month. Bombshell testimony from Dr. Anthony Fauci reveals that he made up the 6-foot distance rule and other measures to protect Americans from COVID. Republicans put out the full transcript of their sit-down interview with Fauci from January, just days before his highly anticipated public testimony on Monday. They plan to grill him about COVID restrictions he put in place that he admitted didn't do much to slow the spread of the virus. In other news, the former White House physician for Presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump says that a new report this week about how President Joe Biden is struggling to function behind closed doors represents a serious threat to the U.S. The remarks from Representative Ronnie Jackson of Texas come after the Wall Street Journal reported that Biden has struggled so greatly at times that officials in private meetings with him have wondered if he is even awake. The article's just documenting what I've been saying all along. He's not fit to be the commander-in-chief, Jackson said. He's got significant issues. He shouldn't have the job. You know, it's a national security issue for us. CNN data reporter Harry Enton marveled at recent polling on immigration, giving former President Trump a huge lead over President Biden on handling of the border crisis. He said, quote, "When you're dealing with something that's now one of the nation's top problems, according to the American public, and an issue that's moving very much towards the former president, you can definitely see why the current president, Joe Biden, felt like he needed to act." Enton reported on CNN News Central on Tuesday after Biden signed an executive order to crack down on crossings at the southern border. Enton analyzed several polls, which highlighted how voters view immigration as a far more important concern now than they did 4 years ago, and they trust Trump over Biden to handle it. A bill introduced to make purchases of child sex a felony has been rendered largely toothless, courtesy of amendments made to placate progressive Democrats. Most Americans living outside of California, as well as most Californians themselves, probably would be surprised to learn that buying sex from children aged 14 to 17 is merely a misdemeanor there. As it stands, purchasing sex in California with a minor aged 14 to 17 results in a maximum sentence of only 1 year in county jail, and some culprits serve as little as 2 days. The legislation intended to rectify this legal insufficiency is titled SB 1414, and it was introduced by State Senator Shannon Grove of Bakersfield. As originally authored by Grove, the new bill would have made buying sex from these minors a felony in all circumstances, thereby increasing the maximum penalties to 4 years in prison and a $25,000 fine, as well as registration as a sex offender. Pope Francis has reportedly encouraged a 22-year-old gay man to continue to pursue a vocation to the priesthood after he was not accepted into a Catholic seminary, just days after the Vatican issued an apology for the pontiff's use of a slur in reference to seminarians who identify as gay. The Pope's handwritten note was sent June 1st as an email attachment, and according to the news reports, it condemned clericalism and worldliness and said, quote, "Jesus calls all." And those are your daily headlines for today. May God bless you, and may God bless the USA.